This is Startup Biz Coach Radio, formerly known as Mornings with Terry, and we're empowering entrepreneurs right from the start. Find us at thestartupbizcoach.com every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with your host, Terry Clay. Are you ready to get this business started?
Have you ever wanted to be a published author? Or how about, would you like to travel the world to get paid to speak and tell others of your story and how others could get over? Would you like to be an Amazon best-selling author? Or maybe you would like to create your own courses and products and get paid for what you know. If that sounds like you, join Terry Clay and Sue Ham at the Business Explosion Mastermind in Florida. It's a private luxury retreat. There, you will have private access to the beach. You will stay in a mansion near the beach. You will be just 2 minutes from Mexico. While there, you will learn all about how to explode your business. If this sounds like you, go to businessexplosion.net. We cannot wait to see you there.
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio.
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I'm back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio. Yeah. So it's Friday, 2015. We are back with the Startup Biz Coach Radio, and today is follow-up day. So every Friday, if you've come to the Startup Biz Coach Radio, we kind of go over what we did for the week. We do the replay or the kind of just talk about what we went through the week, and then we do our topic. I am the host of the Startup Biz Coach Radio, Terry Clay, and so let's just go over it, what we went over this week, who our guests were, what they spoke about, and then we'll go over to our topic of how to create the life you want. So, like last week, last week, I had some dynamic guests. I mean, just excited to have these guests on the call. So let me kind of go over who came and stopped by the call. So first was Monday. We had Ruth Ross. And let me tell you why I liked speaking to Ruth. Ruth talked about how to get an exit strategy. So Ruth Ross actually was a business owner. And what she did, she was probably in her 50s or 60s. I'm not really for sure her age, but she had worked in her business, for maybe 20 or 30 years. So she had worked there a pretty long time. She was considered a baby boomer, and she spoke about re-engaging your life. And what happened was after working those his 30 years as a human resource leader, she was a president and vice president of the company, something to that effect. She got bored with her job. So one tip that I liked about that Ruth talked about was she spoke about how that if you should have an exit plan. So some of you all are probably still at your jobs, and you should have an exit income. So there should be some portion of your money to go towards your exit out. One thing I always talk about in the Startup Biz Coach Radio, I tell you my journey, how I lost everything I owned, lived in an abandoned building, slept in my car, lost my car, and on and on and on. And one of the reasons being was because I had lost 9 jobs, I really didn't have a savings when I started my business. And I think it's a great idea to have exit money or exit budget. You want to hear more about what Ruth Ross said, make sure you head over to the startupbizcoach.com and you get to see episode 62 with Ruth Ross, okay? So the next person that came to the call on Tuesday. Let's see who that was. Hold on. Okay, was Darnyelle Jervey. Okay, she was episode 63, and she talked about profits with an abundant mindset. And I love Darnyelle. She's a well-known seven-figure earner in her business. She was one of the top earners with Mary Kay, so she kind of knows her stuff when it comes to business. But I loved her. She talked about having an abundance mindset and really taking your business to the next level, believing and thinking in abundance. Listen to her episode. She's over at episode 63, Increasing Your Profits Using an Abundance Mindset, Darnyelle Jervey. And I know some of you all have heard of her. She was very dynamic, and actually she's coming back to the call in the next couple of months. Then there was episode 64, BJ Relaford. She was the pastor. True leadership in business is what she talked about. Let me tell you about BJ Relaford. She talked about really ministry and having true leadership in business and really being a leader. You know, when there are certain attributes and aspects of leadership. And she talked about her failures in business and that failures was a learning tool. And I loved what she had to say about being a leader in business. So make sure you head over to episode 64 and you'll hear about ways to define true leadership in business. The last one, which was yesterday, that was episode 65, we talked with April Adams, and she talked of the power of the mind to create the best life possible. And I loved speaking with her. She was just a great speaker. She had a negative mindset at one time in her life and kind of was negative in relationships, and she kind of turned that around. And not only did she turn it around, she's helping others to do the same. So make sure you go over to episode 65 to speak with April Adams. So as I'm getting ready to go to do the mastermind in Miramar Beach, Florida, the private luxury mastermind in the 7,500 square foot mansion on the water, the beachfront property, and we're going to be teaching others how to write books and learn how to make money online. As I get ready for that, I remember I started to think back that I had did another mastermind in Las Vegas from 7 days in Las Vegas, and I ran my show from Vegas 7 days, and it was just a dynamic time. And, you know, if you know about the power of the mastermind, there's always power in getting together and masterminding and talking and laughing and just learning from each other. And this is not any different. So on February 28th, we will be heading over, me and my business partner, Sulandia Ham, a.k.a. Sue Ham, baby. We'll be heading to Miramar Beach, Florida with, we almost have a full house. We do still have actually a few more spots, maybe about 1 or 2 more spots. So definitely if you have some information on wanting to snatch one of those spots up, please get with me at successwithterry@gmail.com. But when I started to think about being at the last mansion in Vegas, I started to think that I wanted to have my own mastermind, okay? I wanted to do this my own way. I loved the mastermind in Vegas. We rode in Lamborghinis and we rode in limos, and we did a whole learn all about really online marketing. And what I wanted to do was kind of put my own twist in it. I'm the startup biz coach, so I help people. I'm empowering entrepreneurs right from the start, getting people together in business. But there were some things that I wanted to teach people how to do, like writing their own books and becoming paid speakers and make sure they are top-notch with affiliate marketing and blogging and those types of things. So I wanted to put my own twist on it. And I had a desire in my mind. I started to think in my mind, I want to do this myself, my own way. And guess what? February 28th to March the 5th, that is going to happen. First thing I had, the vision. So this is our topic for today, steps to creating the life that you want, okay? One is to have the vision in your head. I had the vision. I was like, this is a good idea, but I kind of want to do it a little different, okay? So the way I wanted to do it with my own twist is how we're doing it in Florida, right? So that's one step, is believing, putting that vision in your head. I've been reading a book with Jack Canfield. It's a pretty old book, but guess what? He's kind of redid the book, and I'll actually put the link on the blog for today. It's Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. It's now revised and updated for 2015. So just make sure you head over to, if you want to check out that book. So one of the things that I learned about creating the steps, the life that you want, is to follow kind of what Jack Canfield says in his book. So one of the things that I remember so well is take no less than 100% responsibility for your life. Okay, now check this out. Think about it. You're okay. Let me give you an example. I used to have bad relationships with people, not bad with people, but with men, and I kept getting the same type of men. Well, I would be either abused or dogged out. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, or they would cheat on me. All the same type of men. That's how I used to have. Well, I used to kind of, in the end, would blame the men. Well, they're dogs, and they're not any good, and they keep doing this, that, and the other, right? But then finally I had to say, oh, who is keep getting these same type of men? Terry, right? Instead of pointing the finger at all of them, I had the thumb pointing back at me. I had to keep saying, you're getting the same type of men. What are you doing? So I just started taking responsibility to what I was doing. One of the things I realized that I was doing was I didn't have a standard. I was kind of seeing the red flags early on, and because I saw the red flags early on, I didn't back away. I stayed in the relationship. So when they did some negative things, I kept getting the negative person. Only way it changed is that I start seeing the negative signs up front, and I would leave them alone. That would tell me you're not the one for me. So it kind of stopped me from going through the negative type things, okay? So that's number one. Number two, take responsibility. 100% responsibility of your life. So if you keep getting a negative in your life, there's probably something that you're not doing right. So find out what that is, and guess what? You'll have the life you desire. Redefine failure. Okay, I always talk about this on the Startup Biz Coach Radio. Every day I ask each guest, how are you failure? Redefine it. Some of my guests, they say, I don't believe in failure. I'm not failing because failing is to quit. I've heard people say different things. I believe that one of the latest, there's great risk in taking a risk. So there were different things that I kept hearing when it comes to failure. Maybe there is no sort of thing of failure, especially if you never quit. Because I always believe if you keep pushing, you're eventually going to win. So maybe you need to redefine what failure is. If you say you failed, then you have failed. Because what I like is that some of my guests say, no, I haven't failed. I don't believe in failure, So redefine what failure is. And one of the things that are holding people back from getting the life they want is a fear of failure. So sometimes people are so afraid to fail. They're so afraid to fail that they're stopping themselves from growth. So one thing that you can do, we talked about this week with Danielle Jervey, was create an abundance mentality. A scarcity mentality is one of lack. She talked about this. This is powerful. So the abundance mentality tells you there is always abundance. You don't have to worry about losing. In life, there's so much world to have. There's so much that you can have. You don't have to live in the lack mentality. So that's a part of having the failures, right? Thinking that there is a lack, right? And focus on the process. So the two things that you can do so that you can redefine your failures, okay? All right, so number 3, be clear why you're here. All right, so everybody's born for a purpose, right? I believe that. I told you all that when I was a nurse, I hated my job. It was miserable. I was unhappy. But I knew that after reading The Purpose-Driven Life, I knew that everybody was born with a purpose, and that was probably why